We used to spend 30 to 45,000 a month in Facebook ads personally, and we've tapered that down to about 3,000 per month now. And the crazy
Wow.
part is we're having record-breaking sales, more than we've ever had. So I don't want to say it was all because of TikTok, but we noticed massive spikes in traffic across all of my programs. We're not just having record revenue months, but we're having record profit. And so that's been powerful in our business.
This is The Fighting Entrepreneur, the podcast dedicated to entrepreneurs looking to change the world. Learn how to start, build, and scale a business in today's highly competitive business environment. Here's your host, The Fighting Entrepreneur, Anik Singal.
What's up, you crazy fighting entrepreneurs? Welcome back to yet another episode of The Fighting Entrepreneur with your favorite person in the whole wide world, Anik Singal. We are here today and we're going to talk about this massive movement that completely mystifies me, okay? I'm not fully on board yet, but I'm starting to turn around and look at it. It's called TikTok. I know we're all talking about it. It's highly addictive. So once I get in there, I can't seem to get out, but I can't seem to become a contributor to it. I have been chasing our guest that is on today for months. I've been looking forward to this episode for months because she is, from everything I've seen, the best person I have seen in social media. And when it comes to her, I've watched her go onto TikTok, and I have a joke with her that she's wasted a lot of my time because I get hooked into her TikToks. But she was the first person, and she's literally known in the industry as the successful early adopter of TikTok. And I'm witness of that because I've watched it happen. I watched her, I think when I first saw her, she had like 1,000 following, and we'll find out today, but it is way more than that with millions of views. And I'm going to ask her all kinds of questions. How do we make money with TikTok and how do we grow a big following? That's the episode's title today. Before I officially introduce her and we start, I want to remind you, head on over to Lurn.com, Lurn.com. Come on, get your free membership. It's absolutely free to be a part of this amazing community. We've got amazing courses in there. We got free courses for $5, courses for a couple thousand, depends on what you're looking for. And we're building some amazing engagement features in our platform as well. So please head over to Lurn.com. And if you want to binge watch our podcast, go to onicpodcast.com. All right. So on to today's guest. Here's how I met her, or I got to know her. Somehow, one way or the other, her post started showing up on my newsfeed. Now, we weren't friends at that time, so it must be lots of mutual friends, which we do have. And you're going to kind of see she's very animated. She's very fun. And so that drew me in. I was like, who is this person? And then I saw that she was speaking at ClickFunnels or had spoken at ClickFunnels. So now all of a sudden I'm like, okay, she's someone, like there's this person in my industry I need to know. And it was when she really started talking about TikTok that I got drawn in because I had so many questions about it. One thing leads to another. I contacted her. I friended her on Facebook and I started following her on TikTok, and then we started chit-chatting, and we haven't met yet officially, but I'm really impressed with what she's doing and all of her work and all the people she's training, and it's just amazing stuff. So it's an honor to have her on today, and I encourage you to follow her after this, like religiously. Everything she's doing, get on top of it. So without further ado, Rachel Pederson, thank you so much for being with us today. It's an honor.
Oh my gosh, Anik, thank you so much for having me. This has been long overdue. I'm excited that we finally get to connect face to face on the internet and talk about TikTok, and hopefully we get some of yours and your listeners and viewers' questions answered.
Yes, absolutely. I'm super excited. So Rachel, before we start, we have a bit of a tradition here at the Fighting Entrepreneur. So you have to take the oath. So if you don't mind raising your right hand and repeating after me. I, Rachel Pederson.
I, Rachel Pederson.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
To tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
To tell the truth and nothing but the truth.
And reveal all my TikTok secrets.
And reveal all my TikTok secrets. I can't believe you're getting me to do this.
Yeah, well, we got it on record now, so we are in. Well, listen, Rachel, before we kick off into the rounds, for my own benefit, I want to know a little bit about your story. You've posted some stuff that makes it clear you went through a tough time at some point in your life. Like you weren't just woke up one day and became this massively successful entrepreneur. And so I would just love to hear, who is Rachel and how did you go from where you are to like this social media mogul that's now like changing lives all over the world?
Well, thank you. It's hard to follow that kind of introduction up with anything that can like justify it. But I actually have a background that is not related at all to marketing. I became a single mom unexpectedly at the age of 21, which was not at all where I thought my life was going to go. And of course, suddenly I was charged with raising a child, and I still felt like a child myself. And so I found myself just so overwhelmed, uncertain of what the next, path was going to look like. I was a college dropout, and I remember I even like applied at Taco Bell to get a job while I was
Wow.
pregnant. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And I was rejected for that job. And I was like, what am I going to do? How in the world am I supposed to provide for this child that's depending on me? And so, I went on welfare and food stamps, and we actually rented one bedroom, because if you're familiar, some people won't be familiar with how the welfare structure works out, but basically you only get a couple $100s per month. And so that's supposed to cover your rent, your diapers, your formula, etc. And so
Wow.
we were renting one bedroom, and there was even like a winter where our heat got shut off because our landlord couldn't afford rent. And it was like this crazy thing. It was a very, very tough and challenging time. But while I was on welfare, I was like, I need to do something. I need to create a life that's different than what this current trajectory looks like. And so I went to school to become a hairstylist and started that path. And it didn't pay as much as I thought it might, but at the same time, it was a step in a really good direction. And so, I started working my way up, and I was using social media, not well, but just using it to try to generate new clients as a hairstylist. And all I knew is that when I put up a before and after picture of a hair transformation I created, suddenly a new client would book and say, I saw you on Instagram, or I saw your Facebook, post, and I thought I have to book with her. And so I didn't have everything figured out. I just knew that something was working. Now, this is kind of funny. 6 years ago, I actually met my husband, and he is amazing. We literally hit it off so fast that 13 days later, we got married after.
Whoa. 13 days.
It was pretty intense. I know what people
Yeah.
are thinking. Oh my gosh, were you guys pregnant? Was he rich? No, he was a window washer, just such a good man. And I knew right away, I just had this gut feeling, this is it. And so a week after we met, he was like, I'm in love with you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said it. I feel the same way. And then he's like, and I want to marry you. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you feel this way too. Let's do it. And we were going to wait 6 months to get married, but everyone seemed to like freak out about that. They were like, you can't get married in 6 months. This is a stranger. You don't even know how he is during the holidays, etc. And I was, kind of like frustrated. I was like, I finally found love, and no one seems to be happy. So I called Paul up on a Monday night, and I said, I was only going to wait 6 months for everyone else's sake. Do you want to get married tomorrow? And he's like, let's totally do it. So we went to the Mall of America in Minnesota, the Chapel of Love on the 3rd floor, and we eloped on a Tuesday.
That is awesome. And you know what? Now that I've kind of watched you on social media, like, I'm not surprised. That makes sense, Rachel. That sounds like something you would do. I could totally see that. Well, good for you. Now you have many kids, a big happy family. So I think you were right, weren't you?
I think so. I mean, we look a day, a lot of learning to do. For example, after we got married, he was like, when's your birthday? And I realized, we know nothing about each other. But there was just this general gut feeling, and I've learned my gut feelings are never wrong. So I continued to be a hairstylist. He continued to be a window washer. And then one day a client came in and said, hey, Rachel, like you're posting stuff on social media. Can you show me your Twitter? And I was like, show you my what? And I was like, oh, Twitter. Okay, yes, I can show you my Twitter. And so it turns out her and her husband have bought this little chicken chain, which actually used to be one of the most established fast food joints in all of the southeastern United States. And so I started working for them. It was like $15 an hour, and I was getting these like $75 paychecks. But I was so happy about it because we were creating extra, income on top of what we were taking home. And I just had this gut feeling, and I'll never forget the day I came home and I looked at Paul and I said, babe, I think this is it. I think marketing is my thing. And he said, you know what? I think that gut feeling's right. And so we jumped all in. I left being a hairstylist. By the grace of God, I got hired by a marketing agency, which I still don't know why in the world they hired me. I had no experience, no real degree, and I started learning copy there. It was a direct response email lead generation agency. From there, I worked my way up to becoming a marketing manager in a tech company. And this all happened in short order, kind of like how I do everything. We do things really fast. And everything has just continued to grow since that time. 6 months later, I replaced my income with clients when I started to feel the urge to build my own business. And so it was time to leave. I left my 9 to 5, replaced Paul's income in a few months, and a lot of amazing events later, we're here today.
Wow. What a story. I love that. Congratulations. That's your dream story right there, right? Everything started organically coming in place. You followed your heart. You listened to your gut. Like, I love it. What a true entrepreneurship success story. Very powerful. So you've been, now how long have you, because you teach other people how to do social media management. When did that part of your business start?
So I've been full-time in the business just for 4 years now. So I still sometimes feel like a baby entrepreneur, but it was about 6 months later when I first hit like the $10,000 month that people started saying, can you teach us how to do this? And I was actually really reluctant because I had always kind of disliked the whole mentality of like, I'm just going to teach others how to do it versus actually practicing it. And so I was like, okay, I can't teach people how to become super rich being social media managers, but maybe I can teach them how to manage social media. And so I opened up what is now Social Media United. And it was really, really crazy. I was so surprised by how many people joined. And now today we've served, I think, over 7,000 people in 80 different countries with Social Media United. But I was really reluctant to it at first. And we started that about 3.5 years ago.
Wow. Incredible. It was 7,080 countries. That's incredible. Congratulations. All right. So tell me before well, actually, you know what? Let's go into round number 1, and we'll start moving into TikTok and how all of this goes into TikTok. So round number 1, how do you discover TikTok? What got you intrigued in it? And tell us a little bit about TikTok. A lot of people listening probably don't even know what it is if they've already heard of it by now. But yeah, so segue your story into TikTok for me.
Yeah, so at this point in time, it was 1.5 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and I had just had our third kid. So we now have a 9-year-old that I had before I met Paul, a 5-year-old, and now a 1.5-year-old. And I was invited to, this sounds so like cushy, but I was invited to the Bahamas on a yacht with Russell Brunson and a bunch of other people like Peng Joon and Annie Grace, Stacey Martino. So we took this yacht down to the Bahamas, and Annie's like, you've got to check out this app. It's so funny. It's so silly. It reminds me a lot of you. And I was like, okay, let's check it out. And she's like, basically you just do like fun dances and stuff. And that is where I shot my first TikTok video. Only kind of like everything else, it wasn't just a little passing phase. It quickly became something that I was obsessed with. It was actually, this is so crazy, Anik, and this is how I knew this platform is going to be something a little bit different. I started putting up videos. I didn't really have a following. I think I had 60 followers on the platform. And I put up a video, and the next morning I woke up and it had 9,000 views. And I was like, whoa, we don't see this anywhere anymore. This is a little powerful. And so I started creating more videos, still kind of bumbling my way around. I met some really great influencers who were crushing it, and they gave me some feedback about like what I could do. But life got a little busy. And so I actually took an interlude for like 6 months, maybe even almost a year. Yeah, almost a year, and took a break just because, truth be told, life gets busy with kids. You know how that can go, right? Mm-hmm. Crazy. So 6 months ago is when I picked it really back up. And at this point in time, from those videos before, I had accumulated several thousand followers. And I was like, wow, that's pretty powerful. I've done nothing on this app, and I continued to gain followers and views. I had one video that reached like 55,000 views. And I was like, this is so crazy while I was doing nothing. And so I hit it really hard. And then just this week, we crossed 120,000 followers on TikTok.
Wow. And you started again 6 months ago, you said.
6 months ago was the real big push where it was like, okay, let's take this seriously now.
That's incredible. So the silliness of it was what drew you in. And I think one of the big arguments against TikTok that the marketing community throws out there, and I've seen you counter it, and I want to hear your opinion on this podcast is, people will say, well, you can't make money from that. What good's a follower? Because these are all kids and they're just dancing around and doing silly things. So you have 120,000 followers. How many views do you think you've had now total?
Oh, I don't know what the total is, but in any given week, I see about 2 million views on TikTok.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's nothing to gawk at. Like that's a big number. 2 million views a week.
And in fact, I just had, not that long ago, my first 920,000 view day. And I was like, this could start becoming the norm.
Wow.
This is pretty crazy.
Stuart, turn the music on. Anik's gonna dance. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Like I have a section here that says your question stats. I'm dumbfounded now. Okay, so let's move into round number 2 because I want to know how TikTok works. So round number 2, TikTok, how it works. So one of the things that's always confused me, it's these videos, like the music is playing over it and you're doing all these fun things like you go boom and things pop up and it seems like there's a lot of editing. Now the person in me thinks I got to take the video, shoot it, download it to my computer, edit it, re-upload it. So much time. So can you explain to me if someone is today, right now, just like, okay, me, let's use me as an example. I do not have a TikTok account. The only time I ever log on to TikTok is usually to see what you're doing. But I haven't followed yet because I didn't create an account. So let's say I want to go post TikTok today. I want to go ahead and do my first one today when we're done with this podcast. Walk me through what I would do, how it works, and how I would engage to get that up there.
Awesome. So the first thing you're going to do is create your account. You can do it using Google, you can do it using Facebook, or you can use email and traditional login. Once you create your account, you want to fill everything out, including your bio, which is 150 characters, no clickable links, which is really interesting. And I'm sure you're going to have questions about that. No clickable links. And then you have the ability to connect your Instagram and or your YouTube channel directly to your profile. And that's actually part of the key when it comes to initial indirect monetization. You also want an attractive profile photo, just kind of like on any other platform. You want it to be clear that you're a person, not a bot or a blurry photo. And then from there, this is a little different than what most people would teach you. Start with research. Start researching what other influencers, your competitors are doing, and what your market's doing by using the hashtags that they're already putting out there. So if you want to work with business owners, search for hashtag business owner and look and see what they're putting out there and start to identify the trends that you see. I actually recommend everyone start with an hour of research, which by the way is not hard to achieve in one single session. It's very entertaining, and start to kind of just make notes of the patterns and trends that you're seeing across the For You page and in your targeted searches. Okay,
so this way, so hashtags are very important. When I upload a video, it's super important. So as you're talking, I'm thinking about my podcast called Fighting Entrepreneur. So I want to target entrepreneurs, and let's say I want to target them about my podcast. Like that's what I would decide to build up. So when I go on there, how do I search? I just go to the search bar and type in entrepreneur and start that way, and then just start seeing what's coming up?
Yeah, absolutely. So I like to search for hashtags. My favorite way to do it is reverse research method, where you're researching what your dream listeners would be using. So maybe your people are entrepreneurs, maybe they identify as digital marketers. I would search for those hashtags and see what kind of content they're putting out there and the questions that they have. Are they being snarky? They're probably not doing as many dances as the random stuff you're going to see on your For You page. And dancing actually doesn't need to be a part of TikTok at all. That's just a huge part of my personality. Like you said in the beginning, I'm very animated. I'm super goofy. I'm an Enneagram 7. And so I like to have fun, and it's an outlet for me to do crazy things and dances and get away with it somehow, which is really awesome.
I like that you said you're an Enneagram 7, that you're an Enneagram follower. I'm an 8. So yeah.
You're a good person. My husband's an 8.
Yeah, I'm an 8, but that also makes me really serious sometimes, right? So that's why like TikTok. But you have gotten your husband to participate in some of your TikTok videos. I've seen that.
Yes.
So I have a chance here. Okay, very cool. So all right, so we've done our research, and let's say I've found some hashtags. Do any come to mind for me? Because you are obviously in this space, you've probably done some research on this, like right off the top, like, hey, Anik, I would start your research for your hashtags
Oh
here.
yeah. So I would start with over 30, hashtag over 30. I
Okay.
also really like the 30 plus club. That's a great one. If you search for millionaire, as crazy as this is, you'll get a lot of information about what videos are crushing it for people who are putting out information about building a business. I like digital marketer. I like business owner, sometimes biz owner, because it doesn't always have to be proper on this platform.
Mm.
Entrepreneur is a great one. You can also search for hashtag Gary V and get some really good insights, because a lot of people who discovered TikTok through Gary V use the Gary V hashtag.
Oh. Was he kind of, how did TikTok become big? Was it Gary Vee who got it to really take off?
Well, I'd like to say it was me, but yes, I think it was mostly Gary Vaynerchuk talking about it. But the other thing that was interesting is it started with young users. So what I love about this platform, and where I'm seeing a lot of potential for growth, is anytime that a platform starts with young users and then successfully brings on adults, that is obviously now they're able to monetize.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So thank you for that. That was really good. There's some great hashtags to go after. So I did my research. What comes next?
Okay, so the next part is it's time for you to actually create some videos. And I'm going to give you some very, very good news. I'm not lazy, but I really like simple. I love simple. My life is busy. I have time for everything I prioritize, but I don't have time. Let me rephrase that. We don't care to make time to edit videos for TikTok. So I actually shoot all of my TikTok videos in the TikTok app and do the editing there as well. So it's a very simple process, and we actually batch most of my content each day. So we record them all in the morning, and then I release them throughout the day with the simple edits. But if something is too complicated, I'm not going to do it, because I'm not trying to be a movie producer.
So how many TikToks do you release a day?
On a good day, I do 5 to 10. When I'm absolutely crushing it, I'm somewhere between 7 and 10. Realistically, if you can put out consistent TikToks, it's going to be better for you than putting out 10 and then disappearing for 2 weeks. And so it's best to be consistent. I find the sweet spot for most people is between 1 and 5 per day. My sweet spot for the growth that I like to achieve is 5 to 10, and we usually hit it almost every single day.
That's incredible. And so walk me through first of all, it's nice to know I don't have to do all this crazy editing. So I've got a team here. So personally for me, I can hand one of them the phone and say, record me doing something. And then right on the app, it's just like clicking, 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 and you get the edit done and you just hit upload. What about like music? So I see this, like I've got some boxing gloves that say Fighting Entrepreneur. So if I want to put Rocky music behind it, does that happen all from within the app?
It does. So that's actually the best way to do it, because if you upload music yourself, you might get in trouble for copyright. But once a song is in the app, the chances are TikTok has already worked with the artist to make sure that it's allowed via the copyright or the license, whatever it is that they have to work out. So you can actually add the music before, after, or let me rephrase that, before or after you record. But I like to start a different way. I actually choose music based on what I see on my For You page, and then I create according to that music that I find, versus coming up with my own ideas. I find that those don't work as well as repurposing a trend that's already crushing it.
Yeah, I see that all the time. Once one song hits, it seems like everyone's doing that. So one of the things I've noticed is people will do really goofy videos where they're saying the words or whatever that's being said. I'm assuming then the app is playing that for you and you can mimic along it. It's not like you're trying to do it on your own and then sync it later.
No, you can listen to it as you record, which is really helpful. So at first, there's a little bit of a learning curve trying to remember words. And while a piece from like The Office might sound really fun, you have to remember a lot of words. And so that can be really challenging. I really like the music. For example, there's one that's like, do. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And so you get to build up the anticipation with answering the question with yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. And that's all you have to remember. So I keep it simple because it's hard to remember a lot of dialogue.
Got it. No, I love that. And then I'm assuming you just hit a button that says upload it, and that's it. And then it just goes up into the...
Yeah, so you can hit next and then hit upload, or you can save it to your drafts there, and then your team can edit it, add the text as needed. So it would actually be most time, I guess, like efficient for you to record a bunch, batch them, and then have your team release them at a pace that you guys agree on, either 1 a day or 3 a day. But I usually batch record about 6 TikToks in 15 minutes, and then I'm good to rock and roll for an average day.
So can the team access do I have to I have to do it on a phone that I just give to them, or do they log in online and access it to edit it?
Good question. So they're not able to access it on desktop or on phone if it's saved as a draft. So you have to actually hand them the phone. So that's one downside to the whole like drafts being saved locally. But at the same time, I don't mind that. I'm like, here, can you put this together real fast? Although I like to edit my own because I have a good feel for it.
Yeah, and these devices aren't that expensive, so just get one that's for that purpose and then just hand it to the team and walk away. So, okay, I want to move into round number 3, and I want to talk about the types of videos that we can put up and what kinds work and all of that. And then for everyone, I know everyone who's listening right now is aching. They're like, how do you make money from this? That will be round number 4, so hang tight with me. Round number 3. Types of videos. Talk me through what you've done. So many, 2 million views a week. Like, give me an idea of what you have found to work the best, what seems to get the most views. Do you see any trends?
So the good news is the videos that seem to perform the best are not my original content. And that's almost always like a reality check to any ego where I think I'm funny. I'll create this like original content. I'm like, oh, this is so funny. I've never seen anyone do it. And it like totally flops. As soon as I grab a trend that's already performing, it feels familiar to everyone. So as soon as I put my own twist on it, that's where we've seen the greatest success and the videos that go the most viral. So I always grab trends from my For You page and then just recreate it either with a twist about being a mom or a parent or about my marriage or even about being a business owner. And those twists have made a huge difference. There are 2 big categories that I like to put all content in, and that is either evergreen or trending. So evergreen content, you could technically batch all of your content for the whole year because it's always going to be applicable. It's the same now, a month from now, a year from now. However, trending content comes in and out super fast. When you see a trend, it could be totally not valid a week from now. So you want to strike while the iron's hot with trending content. So I recommend most people create evergreen content so that they can have it all batched and sitting in their drafts ready to post. And then once in a while, when you feel inspired and see a trending piece and you think, oh, I've got a funny twist, like this is what it's like being a husband, suddenly you're able to create that trending content more easily because your evergreen content has been supporting you. And there are 4 real categories that I subcategorize all of my content in, and that is education, entertainment, engagement baiting, yes, that's a thing on TikTok, and then also emotion. And all 4 of those have a different purpose. I like to use education as like my evergreen content, and as well as my engagement baiting. And the other 2 I really like to focus on trending content for.
Do you kind of rotate between the 4, so keep it balanced, or do you lean on 1 or 2?
Yeah, not perfectly. I will say I put a lot more in entertainment, but I almost feel like I'm entertaining myself by creating those. And that does bring a following that's like, oh, I thought you were fun and cool with like this video where you taught us this, but I really like your personality. It gives people a behind the scenes that I think consumers have honestly been begging for years.
Got it. So that's really helpful, by the way. If you're listening, you can tell she has a course about this because she's got it's like bam, bam, bam grouped. And we will talk about that at the end. I want people to, if you're interested, you should join. Here's where I have my head is screaming. I'm not entertaining. I just cannot see myself doing dances or, being goofy. It's not really my personality. And so having said that, the little that you've known of me, it's not like I'm some kind of, I'm trying to think of the right word, Grinch or anything, but I'm also I'm usually pretty serious. I'll laugh a little, but all my videos, things that go up on social media are training, content, education. Do you see kind of looking at me, do you see hey, Anik, I think you'd probably do decent or good, or I've seen someone on TikTok that I think you should look at that would be, relevant to you. Anything come to mind?
So I actually have put out a lot of education videos that have done really well. And so if you were to do nothing else, you could create one evergreen educational video per day for the whole year. And I bet you would grow pretty consistently, especially if you're focusing on marketing and entrepreneurship and business and talking about the how-tos. In fact, one of my currently trending videos is one where I teach people how to go live on TikTok and how you can do it. And that one always performs. Once it starts to kind of fall off the For You page where everything has the ability to go viral, TikTok will put it back up and it starts performing again. So evergreen educational content is really powerful and totally in your wheelhouse. But I even think you're more entertaining than you realize because, for example, you're like,
Thank you.
thanks a lot. I downloaded this app and now I've spent hours looking at these videos. That in and of itself would be entertainment, especially for anyone who's a marketer or a business owner who's like, I heard Gary Vee talking about this or Rachel Pederson talking about it. And suddenly, dang it, 2 hours later. So I think that you're more entertaining than you give yourself credit for.
All right, we'll give it a shot. Let's see what happens. Is there anyone? So, of course, by the way, how can people follow you on TikTok? I should have asked this like a long time ago.
Yeah, good question. Now, I'm going to put an important disclaimer, and this is going to be helpful for you too. So before you create your profile, basically TikTok is going to throw all of these crazy like jabs at you. They're going to do all these little hooks. They're like trying to suck you in, and they don't know what's going to get you to say finally, okay, I'm going to download the app. So they're going to throw crazy dancing teenagers, and then they're going to throw crazy pranks and really immature things. They're going to throw all this random stuff at you. So your For You page is going to be incredibly untailored. It's like if you were to go on Stumble Upon and just click random, you're going to land on a website where you're like, why in the world am I on this website? The same thing is true before you download the app. And then once you spend about 7 days on the app, you'll start getting content that's tailored to you based on your searches, your engagement, and where you're spending the most time.
Got it. So so how do people follow you?
Yes.
Yeah.
So my handle is the Mrs. Pederson, and it's all E's and a D in my last name. So you can find me. I've got a blue check mark by my name. So the Mrs. Pederson. You can just follow me once you create your own profile.
Awesome. And we'll put it in the show notes as well. If you go to onikpodcast.com and grab it, we'll put her tag in the show notes. Anyone else, like, is Gary Vee a good example of someone I should see what he's doing? Or are there other entrepreneur type people that come to mind that you're like, Anik, you should go research them?
Good question. So Gary Vee is doing a little bit of a different approach. He's doing random repurposed sound bites, and that doesn't work for most people. But because he's the loudest voice saying like, get on TikTok, he's naturally accumulating a following. His strategy works for anyone with a massive following that's looking to migrate their following there. But his content doesn't feel particularly native to the platform. No, it doesn't feel platform appropriate. It works for him though. So I want that to be super kind of clear. So if you see Gary's like repurposed content, for most of us, repurposed content just isn't going to perform. The Millionaire Mama is a really fascinating person. I like to follow her. She does a great job. Almost every one of her videos goes viral. Sometimes it's controversial in nature. I think that that's kind of fun to see. The neat part is there aren't a lot of entrepreneurs crushing it on this platform. And so it's really an open playing field.
Oh man, every time I do these podcasts with guests, I swear every single time I'm like, that's it, I'm gonna go do this now, and like I start new businesses, I launch new things, and it's just, like highly gets me unfocused. But this is pretty cool. I am definitely learning a lot, so thank you, Rachel. It's been very educational. Okay, so I'm gonna go to round number 4. This is the one I've been waiting for, and everyone's been waiting for it. So round number 4. Monetization. How does this make money? Have you made money? Go.
All right, let's dive on into it. So obviously you guys know the difference between direct and indirect monetization. And so I'm going to preface this with saying we're in the middle of a land grab. So I want you to imagine you're back in the Wild West days, and they're going to shoot the starting pistol and everyone has to go run and grab their land. You're not going to sit down on the starting line and map out like, what is my cabin going to look like? No, you go grab your land and then figure out what you're going to build later. I want to share that as a preface because I think that's so important. this is a land grab. Go build your platform and figure it out from there. But that being said, we actually, when we started really getting these virals going on TikTok and more people saying, what is it that you do? Teach me, can you show me, etc. And I was like, oh, this is perfectly teeing me up to offer my courses as solutions. We actually at that time shut down almost completely our Facebook ads. We used to spend 30 to 45,000 a month in Facebook ads personally, and we've tapered that down to about 3,000 per month now. And the crazy part is we're having record-breaking sales, more than we've ever had. So I don't want to say it was all because of TikTok, but we noticed massive spikes in traffic across all of my programs. You don't have a clickable link on TikTok, so you have to get creative with how to get people off the app to your funnels, to your website, etc. But the TikTok audience is, they're conditioned to copy and paste. So in your bio, if you have a memorable link, people will either search for it or remember it and type it in, or copy and paste it directly. And we found that to be the case when we started seeing this surge in emails where people were saying, I found Rachel on TikTok, how do I get started? What can I do? How do I, tell me what I need to buy? And there were so many emails coming in that we were like, okay, I think this is really generating some serious leads. And so we started testing different things, including swapping out my Instagram into the profile, the connected account, and telling people, go message me on Instagram, and my team would nurture those leads via Messenger on Instagram. That was one really powerful, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, yeah, you mentioned that you can connect YouTube and Instagram. So no, keep going.
Yeah, so we tested it with Instagram, and then we also swapped in YouTube for a while. And when one of my videos that was just talking about me being a social media manager went viral, reaching 1.2 million people in the course of 2 weeks, I was like, this is really powerful. I directed everyone to my YouTube channel, and in those 2 weeks, my YouTube following grew by 2,200 subscribers, which for me was a huge surge. And you can just see all of our stats were off the charts, and people started clicking through to our funnels, joining my email list, and my email list is growing by thousands since I've joined TikTok organically. So there's been that side of things. But then of course people say, but what about the direct monetization? I need to know, can I directly monetize? And so one day I was actually at the War Room Mastermind, and I was there to speak on TikTok. And I thought, what if I do a mini webinar on stage, shoot this TikTok here, and see if I can generate sales directly from stage in a TikTok? So I shot the video live on stage, which the audience thought it was entertaining and crazy. And within 1 week, we saw the first $600 sale come through directly from that video. And I was like, oh, it's game on now. This is legit. Like, we have trackable ROI from just one video that took me 15 seconds to create.
So that video, how did you track it? Did you put a URL in the video, like just you wrote a URL that could be hard tracked, or you tell? So that's what I'm trying to get. Like, I make a video. What's my call to action on the video? Go to my profile? What is it?
So you can use a combination of things. You can put a URL in like the text on a video, and you can do that at any point. You can also put a text message number so people could text you and you can follow up with leads if that's a part of your marketing system. I personally created a duplicate funnel and only sent the people who were asking, like, how do I do this, to that funnel, and we led them to a webinar that then led to a course sale. So that's one way you can do it. You can reply with a comment. However, I am guessing that that won't be allowed for super long. It's available right now, but that's of course a tactic. I like to tell people to go to my YouTube, and my YouTube very directly leads people into all of my funnels.
Wow, that's amazing. So, okay, so the fact that you've seen sales go skyrocket, but you cut your Facebook ad cost back by $30,000 a month. So that $30,000 is $30,000 you're making. And then on top of that, you're having record months in sales. And you're saying the only thing that you've done differently for this massive growth is you added TikTok.
That's the only thing. It's been mind blowing for us. and kind of making us like rethink like what other organic means can we use to cut back on Facebook ads, because obviously profitable sales are even better. We're not just having record revenue months, but we're having record profit. And so that's been powerful in our business.
No, that's incredible. How much would you say your sales have gone up? Like I'm sitting here thinking, well, 30 grand you get credit for. And if your sales went up another 30 grand, that's like you're making 60 grand a month from TikTok. I mean,
yeah, we increased by 60,000 in profit over the last 30 days.
Wow. Congratulations. That's huge.
Thank you.
This is why this is why you attack people on Facebook when they're like, you can't make money from TikTok. I literally wait for you to come by and you're like, oh, really? Well, now we know why. That's incredible. And so I'm sitting here thinking from a strategic standpoint how I would use it. And I think for me right now, you know, the biggest desire is to grow my podcast more and to get more and more people there. So I'm almost thinking like, I don't even care about monetization. I'm getting, let's say if I'm getting right now, I don't know, 40 or 50,000 downloads a month, maybe a little bit more. If I could go to 100,000, I'd be in. Like I would do TikTok all day long. Is that something like if I was a strategy to use TikTok to promote my podcast, do you see that working?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime you can send people to something less directly monetizing, you're building a better relationship. And so that's why we actually pulled back from the direct call to action to generate sales. I actually wanted to build a lasting relationship. So the more I can direct people to a free Facebook group, my YouTube channel, my podcast, etc., the longer they're going to say, okay, now I have time to trust her, learn from her, decide if I even like her. Yeah, that was a TikTok video and that's awesome, but do I actually want to learn from this person? That's going to be more powerful. So the longer you can delay the monetization, I think the more powerful your growth can be on TikTok.
That's amazing. Well, one last question, and this has been a really amazing interview. Usually we'll be at like an hour. I'm at 40 minutes, and I don't have any other questions. I just want to go create a TikTok account.
Sorry.
No, it's great. I love it. What about people that are in different niches? You know, we're in entrepreneurship. That's a pretty mainstream niche. I'm trying to think of like a crazy one like gardening or what. Do you see TikTok as kind of available for all different niches, or are there certain ones that are better than others?
Absolutely. So we're actually in one of the hardest niches to market for because it's kind of B2B, kind of B2C, and we're oftentimes being entrepreneurs and marketers of the thing that we do. So that's actually one of the most challenging things because there's always natural barriers. You know what I mean? If you are B2C, get on this app. If you have anything that's like an aesthetically pleasing before and after, get on this app. So plastic surgeons, home interior, decorators and contractors, get on this app because before and afters are really powerful here. If you have an attractive character or a person who's like the face of your business, get on this app. And if you have anything that's interesting or intriguing about your business, get on this app. So all of those are going to crush it. We're actually in the hardest space, just so you know, to grow. And if I was able to do it, oh my gosh, anyone can. Because I feel like I have, 3 kids and I feel like my life isn't that crazy fun, but
Yeah. Well, it's funny when you're going through your list, it's like basically if you breathe, get on this app and there is something to do with it. Very, very powerful. Seriously, Rachel, this has been one of my favorite episodes because you just gave it all and you gave it in a concise way that people can truly take action on. Having said that, I'm sure they want more Rachel in their life. So could you please tell our viewers how they can get involved? You have a TikTok course, I know, and other things. Just how can people learn more from Rachel Pederson?
For sure. The easiest way to learn more is go to tiktokgrowthhacks.com. That's TIKTOK. growthhacks.com, and there you'll get a whole library of free resources that will save you a lot of time and guesswork. So that way you can find benefit from this either way.
That's amazing. Yes, and make sure you follow her on TikTok, and you can find her on all the other social media platforms as well. Rachel, thank you so much for being here today. What an awesome episode, and I am going to say I'm 90% there. So I'm going to go play around. I'm going to look around. But if I do get on TikTok, I will give you all the credit for it because it definitely wasn't for me watching you do it. I would 100% not be doing it. So I'm going to go at least, you know what I'll do? I can commit to this. I'm going to create an account and I'm going to do research. guaranteed I will do that today. And so by the time this episode actually comes out, I don't know, maybe people will already be seeing me on TikTok. And if you do, it was Rachel who got me there. You know that. Awesome episode, everybody. Make sure you go follow her, get involved in her course. Again, TikTokgrowthhacks.com, TikTokgrowthhacks.com. Thank you so much for listening today. Make sure you go to onicpodcast.com and leave us a great review and tell everybody about this Fighting Entrepreneur podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, hit subscribe, leave me a review, click the thumbs up thing, leave me a comment below. I respond to them, I read them, I enjoy them. And make sure you go to onicpodcast.com and binge watch all of our episodes. And of course, get your free Lurn, LURN.com membership. With that said, everybody, as I always say, when life pushes you, stand straight, smile, and push it the heck back. This is Anik Singal signing off. Go out there and fight for your dreams, fighting entrepreneurs. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to The Fighting Entrepreneur with your host, Anik Singal.